Hey DollFAM, welcome back to an all-new episode of Monday Coffee with the Doll. It has been a hot minute since I have sat down and shared my deepest feelings with you all, and I really do think that it's starting to affect me negatively. So I wanted to take some time to share with you all, like you have been sharing with me so much lately with all of the new content I have been posting. So I wanted to take a second and sit down with a cup of coffee and do a Monday Coffee with the Doll, check in with you all, and also it's Valentine's Day. So happy Love Day. I love your faces. Go grab a cup of joe, a cup of coffee, a shot of whiskey, however you like to start your week, and spend some time with me. So it's been a while since I've sat down and done a Monday Coffee with the Doll because I've just been so crazy busy trying to learn the new balance that is my life. I have been basically starting over for the past, I think it's like 6 years now since I moved to Texas, and my entire life changed in so many dramatic ways, and there was a lot of pain with that change, and there was a lot of coming to terms with things within myself that I didn't even know existed, because realistically I was learning about who I was as a person and as a solo mind without other influences or control from any other outside sources, and that is quite a journey to travel. You know, I think out of all of the projects that I've done, Monday Coffee with the Doll is probably my favorite, and it's probably the most beneficial thing that I think that I've put out on the internet. I know that I have some really killer pinup photos, but I think that the content that I share and the connections that I've made with other people through Monday Coffee with the Doll has always outshone any picture that I could take in my skivvies, realistically. With 3 kids, it is hard to find time to do the blogging that I've always done, because being a content creator, no matter what that content is, when you do the stuff that I do, it has such involvement to it. I don't think, people think that it's easy, that you just jump online and you're like, you're just taking pictures or you're just taking video, but realistically it's around the clock attention, it's around the clock editing, it's around the clock making sure you're getting content. And sometimes I don't talk about that because I feel like if I talk about it in such a real way that it might turn people off who watch my content, because they're like, well, she talks about being, it being so involved. Is it a negative? Is it upsetting her? Not in any way. When I take breaks or when I'm gone for, a long period of time with projects that I'm working on, like Monday Coffee with the Doll, I haven't had an episode in forever because just realistically it didn't fit in with where I'm at in my life right now, and that is learning how to juggle with 3 kids and having a baby again after my boys were already so big and so on doing their own stuff, and now I have another baby, so I'm dealing with that. The pandemic hit, everybody knows how that's going. So with that much stuff and trying to balance now being somebody who homeschools full-time, it's been too hard. It's been too hard, and then ultimately I just feel pressured, and I feel like I'm not doing any good for anybody, when realistically I myself am just such a mess within my own head because I've put so much pressures on myself, when really I just need to say, you know what, you need to set this down for a minute and focus on this that needs your attention. And I ultimately think that if we did that more, if we said, hey, I need to set this down so I can focus here for a little while and then I'm going to come back to that, instead of saying I can't put this down because I'm going to let people down, I'm going to let myself down, I think we put too much on our own shoulders, and then we just walk around tired. I know, I'm exhausted. So it really has been, the past 2 years has been a year of growth and balance. Lucy Jo is now going to be, she'll be 3 this summer. Summer's going to be here before we know it. And she's able to kind of go do things with her brothers. They go outside and they play and they do things when it's quiet in the day, schoolwork's done, everybody has free time, and they go outside, and then I can come in here and I can sit down with you guys and share some of my time in the areas that brings mom joy. And something that brings mom joy is creating content and connecting with the people who have supported me through literally everything detrimental in my life, and that's you guys. So I have been determined this year to kind of turn some of my manicness into more positive outlets, rather than just focusing on some of the repetitive, not so positive things that I do. Let me explain. So I know it's been a while since I did a Monday Coffee, but one thing that we talk about on Monday Coffee and that I share really openly is my own journey with anxiety and depression, like all of us do. We're all sharing out here trying to figure it out. And I do talk about that on this show, and I think that's why this show is the most important thing, because I think that it's content that I'm putting out that offers hope or possible help to somebody else that might be sharing the same struggles that I am. And if by me being real and sharing my truth helps somebody else grab on to their own, then that's enough for me. I'm selfish. I like helping people, and I'm just really selfish. So over the past several years, I've been learning a lot about myself, and I talk about it sometimes. I haven't been as open in sharing since I stopped doing Monday Coffee with the Doll over the past 2 years. But that's going to change, because I think this is honestly therapy for me. Sharing so openly the things that I go through and kind of the conclusions that I make within myself while I'm learning about myself, and then vocalizing it is really therapeutic for me. So hey, if you're looking for a therapeutic release of, all the struggles in your mind, try vlogging. Somebody out there is going to connect and totally relate to what you're saying. That's the great thing about the internet. So this year, I feel like is going to be a year where things come full circle. And I say that because there's been some things that have happened at the end of last year and the beginning of this year that have really given me a new perspective. And I think that it's that a lot of things that I've been burdened with when it comes to just heartache and pain and trauma and transitioning into, somebody who controls their own life rather than somebody who walks a path dictated by somebody else. When you live in that state for a really long time, it can be a big journey. It can be a hard journey, especially when the people that used to walk that journey with you completely ghost you, and in really difficult ways. And I'm not going to get too much into that because it's not something I'm really open with talking about yet. But, learning to walk my own path for me has been hard, and it hasn't been that long. And one of the things I want to go into this new year with is that I give myself some grace and some mercy, because it hasn't been that long and I'm still learning and I'm doing really well, but I still have a long way to go. And I think this year, a lot of things that have been difficult for me are going to come full circle and come to a close, and new doors are going to open in more positive ways where maybe it's been a lot of heartache and it's been stress and anxiety and difficult things. I think those things are going to come to a close. And all of the things that have been hidden and all of the things that I've been struggling with are going to start going my way, I guess is the best way to say it. So as I'm learning and growing about myself, I'm also learning about some really not so great things and habits that I have that are solely on my shoulders. I think that we have to really take the time to look at our situations and look what's going on in our life and see where we have control and where we don't have control. And in the areas that we have control, we need to really, take control of ourselves and be like, hey, you are in control of this. Nobody else is. So if you want to make it better or, change it, it's on you to do that. And there's a lot of areas in my life where I have to take control. And one of those things is learning how to be a person outside of just being a mom and a wife, because I'm really bad at that. And I'm learning that being vocal about that is okay. I've always felt really bad for saying that, and I'm also learning where I get that from. And I'm starting to learn how to monitor my own manic behavior and my own not so healthy ways of coping with my manic times. And as I get older and I'm starting to notice and be able to, kind of form a relationship with my mental issues and learning about my own mental health and learning how to navigate it and where I need to accept and kind of just be like, this is a part of who I am. I have anxiety, I have depression, I have all these things. And now I'm either going to just stay there and be like, well, I have all these things, so that's why I suck. Or I'm going to be like, you know what? No, I can control these parts. So these things that other people see as flaws are just kind of features to fuel me in changing my mindset and working towards something that's ultimately more healthy for me as a solo person, which makes me a better mom, which makes me a better wife, which makes me a better friend, which makes me a better person when I'm talking and sharing, because I want to make sure that the things that I'm sharing are things that help and aren't things that might be toxic for somebody else. You know what I mean? I care about other people's mental health, and I want to help other people's mental health, and I think that sharing my mental health story through Monday Coffee with the Doll has always been something beneficial. So here I am, spilling my guts. So this year I want to start focusing on, just kind of being selfish in some areas when it comes to focusing on things that bring me joy. I've been in my bathroom a lot the past couple weeks, just playing with makeup and making videos and taking photos, and it's my creative release and it makes me happy. I love making content because I love the creative aspect of it. I love setting up the shot. I love getting the shot. I love putting everything together to have really cool things. Like I just worked with some really amazing small businesses who sent me some really rad stuff that they make. Pinup Petals by Jill. There it is. So you guys probably saw all of the pictures on my page from the photos that I did with her, and I added some other pieces from some small businesses that I support and I work with and I believe in. And I'm happy because I believe in these companies and these little businesses and these little brands and these little at-home things, and I believe in these women and men and everybody in between that's running them, because they're important to me. I want to use the platforms that I've built to help other people, and small businesses are what helped build me as a model in the very beginning when my whole dream was to be a pinup model. But now, I have the ability to really lift up some really rad people who deserve that platform. So that's what I do. I've been spending a lot of time creating content, and some of the things that I created, I got some really cool shots with the lipstick that I used, the earrings that I used, my amazing hair flower, and I turned them into some really rad promo posters for these brands, and it was just because I have fun doing it. I love it, and I thought they were really rad shots that could make some really cool posters. I'm like, I'm gonna make these into posters. These are really cool. Check out this rad stuff. Look at it. And it brings me joy. So I've been spending a lot of time kind of focusing on things that make me happy, that aren't just my kids and my husband. I'm so self. So as I'm learning how to walk all this stuff out as a human being, I'm also trying to figure out, what I want to do with my platforms and my content in sharing all the things that bring me joy with you guys. And so that's always a journey too. But I've decided that I'm just going to focus on, the things that I like doing and not the things that I feel like I need to be pressured to do because, well, you're a YouTuber, you're a pinup model, you're an influencer, you're this, you're that. And if you aren't doing it the same way everybody else is, what are you doing? And I get a lot of pressure with that. And that pressure keeps me from proceeding in what I'm doing. I've been doing this for a really long time, over a decade. And I was not the first by any means, but even since I got into it when there wasn't that many, like thinking back when I started doing influencer work, there wasn't really a huge platform, and now there's like tons of influencers. Influencers like a thing. When you do a job title or a job description, they have it listed because it's become such a thing, and I never would have guessed that at all, but I am trying to learn where I fit in being a content creator, and I'm really I have imposter syndrome really bad, so I struggle with that. My brain is really loud even when I'm not talking, so I struggle with that, and I'm just trying to figure it out like everybody else is, and I've missed you guys, so I'm trying to get back to the things that make me happy, in hopes that in sharing those it'll help you guys in your search for your happy. So that's going to be it for this episode of Monday Coffee with the Doll. I just wanted to do a quick sit down and check in with where my mind's been at. Just a lot of growing and learning about who I am, and I think this is going to be a big year. I'm learning how to, respond to what comes my way and really think about things and really figure out what I want to do and where I don't want to be anymore, and things that I don't want to be involved in, but I do want to be involved in things over here. And it's constant growth and constant evolvement as a person, and if we don't stop and take the time to figure out who we are, nobody else is ever going to have the capability of understanding us. So that means that they're going to make up who we are for themselves. And we can't allow anybody to make up who we are. We have to be in control of that, because that's something we can be in control of. You control over who you are. So don't sleep on that. That's important. And I've been sleeping on myself for a long time, and I'm trying to do better, and I'm rooting for you guys to do better. And maybe if I put content out that lets you know I'm rooting for you, anybody who's out there that feels alone won't feel so alone. Because this is the DollFAM. You can always sit at our table. There is always room for you. Period. So with that, I would just like to say that you need to remember that life is a journey, and you need to take your time. Take time to take the time to find peace within yourself so you can walk in love with others. And also always remember that these are the days that fill your week. Make them as amazing as you are, because you are absolutely amazing. And also, I love your face. Thanks for being here. I'll see you next time. Bye.